Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you each to the Sedona Choreography Retreat. I'm Nathan Quinn. I'll be your MC and host for these dialogues. To that end, we're going to be reviewing or talking to some of the participants in today's and this week's choreography retreat. Many from different places, but today the majority of our panelists are from Ballet Arizona. And I'm so glad and feel so privileged to be able to have these conversations with them. So without any further ado, let's start the conversation. So I would like to bring to the stage at this point, Caitlin May. Caitlin May is a dancer with Ballet Arizona. I would also like to bring to the stage Leticia Endler, Helio Lima, and Luis Corrales. Have a seat and welcome to the conversation. And so I'm going to start with you, Caitlin. Today's conversation is to uncover the processes by which dancers kind of come into their own. I know it's a kind of a complicated opener, but tell us a little bit about yourself, where your origins are. Are you a strictly ballet dancer? Are you a modern dancer? Have you had jazz dance?
So yeah, that is a very complicated question, but one that actually we have started talking a lot more about. So I will give a little background to myself. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, trained at a very small school there. It was a mix of everything. I did tap, jazz, ballet, kind of had to do the whole gamut.
You wanted to be the triple or quadruple threat.
You were forced into it there, yes.
Exactly.
You had to pay your bills. But ballet won out, and I went very strictly ballet route for my training. I trained with Houston Ballet, and then joined the company there for many years, and then...
It's really gonna be like, I just had the facilities for it, they gave me an opportunity, and that's how everything started in the national school in Cuba. It was tough, a lot of competition, but then I had to, that pushed me to figure it out what was going to work for myself. I decided Cuba was not for me anymore, especially because of the style that they got there. Very masculine.
Right, it's a little bit different. That was what I was going to mention. It's a little bit different in terms of the way that they set pieces on men in Cuba than it is in the United States, or even in Western Europe.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted to make a career out of there, and that's when I ended up in Ecuador National Ballet for like 3 years, then decided to move to America and joined Ballet Arizona in 2019.
And so you've been here with Ballet Arizona exclusively since you're coming to America?
I went to San Antonio first.
It's still in America, even though we like to say those people from Texas are, a whole nother country unto themselves. But right, so you had a good time and kept you to move forward in ballet.
Yeah.
Great. Well, so thank you all for these really wonderful answers. I mean, I want to delve in a little bit more with you, Caitlin. So you always knew you wanted to be a ballet dancer, and how has what you've managed to achieve so far served to help you realize your dreams, or it hasn't helped you realize your dreams? Or did you say, "Oh my goodness, what did I sign up for?" And it wasn't what I actually thought. I mean, I'm asking this because the idea of this forum is to uncover the process by which people go from where they are to where they want to be, and so to a company. So can you talk to us a little bit about that and whether that's come to fruition for you?
Yes, actually, it's come to fruition a few times, but I think the thing that's very interesting about ballet that Elio was kind of mentioning is that it takes a lot of discipline, but I think what you realize is you start in a school, you're at the bottom, you're learning. Then all of a sudden you're at the top of the school, you're doing all of the principal roles in the school, and you're doing all of the best parts, and you're the most equipped. And then you go to a professional ballet school, and then
Right.
you're at the bottom again. And then
Right.
you work your way up, and then all of a sudden you're kind of at the top of the professional school, and you graduate, and you feel the most equipped. And then you're in a company, and then you're at the bottom again. And so I think it's always kind of that, I guess you could call it a rejuvenation. You know,
Constant leveling up is what I used to call
always
it.
leveling up, and then, you know, I think a lot of us too experience when you move companies, you can be a principal dancer somewhere, but then when you're the new person, there still is that, you know, proving yourself and proving, you know, that you can embody the work that the company is doing and all of those things. So I think it's a constant, and it's not even a fight. I think when you really love it, it's always kind of chasing that next, you know, achievement, because I think, you know, I know dancers myself that have been principals places for years and years and years, and they end up going to another company not because they don't like it where they are or because they don't feel comfortable, but it's because they're chasing that next adrenaline rush of what more can I do?
I'm already the best here. Am I the best everywhere?
Right, and you know, I'm the best at this body of work that this company wants to do, but can I challenge myself in new forms of dance because this company brings in
To expand my
choreographers?
vernacular.
Yeah.
To expand my capabilities.
Yes.
Leticia, are you feeling the same way about what she's saying, or?
I feel exactly like the same. I feel that dancers, especially, something comes from us that we want to challenge ourselves like constantly, and that's a very like nice thing about our art, that we sometimes it's easy for us to get like in a comfort zone, and then when we have that like trigger to like push ourselves a little bit more, we can achieve like much more than like that we realize. So I do agree that like I think ballet and like the dance like world it really like pushes us to like see what we can do, what we can achieve, like how much I can like give to the audience and like and to ourselves too, like, and so I do agree with you.
Constantly pushing yourself
Constantly
is the ideal, is
Yes,
what you're
yes.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Exploring
And
what
you
we
feel
can do.
like that? You feel like ballet demands that more so than other kinds of dance, jazz or tap or that, or is that your experience with ballet?
I do feel like in all forms of dance, this happens.
Right.
I totally like feel that from ballet to jazz to contemporary, like it is a form of art that people want to explore, like the movements that we can do, something that we can create. So it's almost like discovering ourselves in what we do. So I think that it's always like renewing. It never gets like to a point of like, oh, I know what I'm doing. It's a constant like figuring out what we can do.
So, Helio, a guy's journey in another country, would you say mirrors what some of the women go through? Because I know that there are different structures and there are different demands put on men in ballet than they are for the women.
Oh yeah, definitely. The guys, we have a different work as the girls, for the fact that we're always lifting. We constantly have to be stronger. Also, it's like you want to show the girls, they wear the point shoes to create this image of like being light on your feet, you know. So the man needs to be the completely opposite. Most of the time, you need to be grounded, you need to be heavy. So it's like it's a different work, and I would say yeah.
So your process, back to the earlier question, your process having started in jazz and then moving over to ballet, have you been able to requite or fulfill your dreams, and are you feeling like you've made the right choice, and now and how has that been in your mental process to get to this moment?
Well,
I mean, men in tights can be either comfortable or uncomfortable, depending on what your perspective is. So, you know, and speaking to other gentlemen that are coming through, can you give them a little news they can use, for example?
I can say that definitely I did fulfill my dreams. I felt like the way that I went through, starting where I started and where I am today, it was meant to be. I see myself as athlete, as a dancer, but mostly as an artist.
I think that's a really key phrase, an athlete, because many people don't understand the range of athleticism required to be a national level or company level artist or ballet dancer.
Yeah, and as an artist, for me, I have three most important things. It's like always challenging yourself, improving, be true to who you are as an artist, and trust in what you have to offer. Sometimes everybody can be very strong, very good technically, but if you don't find a special thing that you have to offer that makes you happy when you're on stage, for me, in my mind, I don't see the point. When I am on stage, I like to tell a story, at the same time working really hard technically, but my main focus is to touch the audience.
In the confines of the choreography, but through your lens of capability to bring forth the piece, the work. Great, I love that. And Louise, from dancing on your parents' table in Cuba to now dancing at Ballet Arizona, what's that process been like for you? And what I wanted to ask you, and Helio too, is culturally speaking, how have the men in not only your family but in your direct community, I mean, are they happy for you and are they proud for you? Because dancers are cool people, right? Dancers are cool people, but not for everyone, especially through a cultural lens. Can you give us a little context on that?
Yeah, going on the first question, I still fighting to fulfill my goals in my career. I still feel that I want to do so much more. I'm not ready to let it go yet. On the cultural side, okay, is it better now? Okay. Yeah, it was very different. I was very lucky to have my family support. I'm the first artist in my family that I know. My dad was a mechanic.
Is it, do you just not eat? I mean, do you guys fast all the time? I mean, what is your self-sustaining aesthetic?
That was a funny one, but thank God we don't fast all the time because, like Ellie was talking about, and we all mentioned here before, we are very athletic, demanding art too. It's not like just like we have a lot of physically demands too. I think it's different for the boys and the girls because, like they said, they need to lift us. So most
the
of
boys
time,
aren't wearing corsets, for example.
Exactly.
I mean, well, some boys and some roles are, right? And armor and all of that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. You said.
But I think in the dance culture, that's very different from ballet and maybe other styles. Different companies and countries are a little different on the way that they see it. The women body for dance, a lot of them demand us to be thinner, but it's I think Caleb can also say that it's becoming different in the last couple of years. So
which is great, and I think we're seeing more diversity, in company, members. But yeah, I mean, there's this really hard aesthetic, and I mean, especially on the women, I think, because to get that prima ballerina, like Caitlin was saying, that prima spot, they're asking perfection from you always, and so then that kind of reverses into some people's system in healthy ways, and other people we know it's in unhealthy ways. They might deal with bulimia or anorexia or some other non-sustainable way of perpetuating this body aesthetic. So I'm sorry, I mean, how are you handling that pressure? And then what do you do? Do you just eat granola in the morning and call it a day?
I'm still trying to figure out what is best for my body. But I also struggle with it because being a Brazilian
our bodies is a little different from like what the
A
American
little
body
more
looks
curvy,
like.
yeah, right, a little more curvy, right.
And then sometimes they're like, oh, you need to get a little thinner. And I'm like, about this, there's not much we can do. But lately I've been learning how to try to maintain like a healthy body that like can do, because we get to a point that if we try to, for example, like lose weight so much, then it starts to show in your dance, like you don't have strength to do it, you don't have stamina, you get injured very easily.
Right.
So lately I've been like trying to figure out a way to have like both things and mostly healthy, and I struggle with injuries like most of my career just because the way that like my body is, my ligaments are a little more loose than like other people. And I've been being so much like stronger, and not just from eating, but like also like exercising, doing like strengthening exercises, Pilates, and like things that like help us to be strong, and then that can show in our dance like much more. And then we can also like enjoy more the dance because you're not like struggling
Right,
to get
you're not
through it.
managing your body, you're not managing pain or
Yeah, it's
that.
a lot of
Sorry.
discovery. Every year is a new year. I think in my experience, and maybe I think some of it is genetically, some people are just, have those genetics where it's like you can finagle, you'll
We
fit
hear
into
that from
anything, whatever, but
choreographers. She's born to be a ballerina. Her
but
aesthetic
I do
is-
think that especially, the four of us are,
I mean, how have you found the balance in your long career? Even given that you weren't originally supported, in this pursuit.
So it's at the beginning, it's like it's the hardest, I think, because you're younger. At the same time, it's also easier because your body doesn't have much.
Yeah, you're feeling like invincible.
Exactly. So you can practice for a long time. You can hurt yourself, and the injury is not gonna be as big. But I feel like that you're not as smart.
It was kind of like easy for me. I was this flexible guy who like everything would come easier, so I didn't think that I had to put that much work. When I hit my 26, that's when I started to realize that like I can do so much more with my body, so I'm gonna start working now. It was kind of late, so I feel now I'm still like hungry for that work that I'm trying to do last minute to build up into like when I feel that confidence and I can relax again.
And so you've evolved your nutrition and your workout and your relationship to your body
Yes,
with
right.
what you know about yourself now. So as an advice to a young and up-and-coming artist, you're saying, much like Caitlin said at the original part, and Leticia, hey, you gotta really be listening to your body. This is the context that you're giving us, Luis, that like, hey, I was doing something when I was younger, but I gotta, recontextualize that. Like Helio was saying, I gotta recontextualize that to where I am now. But you found a healthy balance with that, and it's not just diet. That's the key piece that I heard you say, because everybody's so focused on how many calories you're eating, or the overage thereof as the cause for different body variances.
Yes.
But I appreciate what you just said, that it's just not always about caloric intake. It's about mental balance. It's about emotional wellness. And even in some ways, I say, according to Latasha Barnes, when we're in flow state, it's even about a spiritual in your experience here.
well, first of all, it's been such a warm welcome. Everybody here is so supportive of this retreat. It's so nice to feel so welcome and such a community already. Everybody, we're all just excited to be here. So that's amazing from the jump. Nyan, who is choreographing on us, is a resident choreographer for Ballet Arizona. So we've worked with him before, but it's just it's a familiarity, but we can also, there's something simmering under the surface. It's tangible that this is we're here at a very exciting time with him, and he's a good friend to all of us, and so we're just excited to be here for the beginning of something, hopefully that's going to be years long of creation and collaboration. But Sedona itself, I mean, being from Phoenix, it's so nice to be where it's, 10, 15 degrees cooler. You can go outside.
Especially
it's not,
at night, it always cools down.
Yes.
But you haven't had Red Rock fever. I mean, you haven't had an aha moment in Sedona as you've been walking around the Red Rocks, and that speaks to you, or even it contextually, maybe, in your experience here.
Looking out at the views here, it's really hard not to feel, like you said, that spiritual balance that's like, wow, this is where art lives. That this is like a place that's going to produce beautiful art because it is such a spiritually fulfilling place to be. And I think now that you've mentioned it, I will go searching for that for a moment, because I think we get so tunnel vision on what we're doing that it almost, it is an exciting place to be, an exciting time, but also it's the work has to get done. So it is, let's maybe take a little time to enjoy.
And Leticia?
Oh, I totally go in the same direction as Caitlin was saying. The experience here has been so nice. Everyone is so welcoming, and just all the interactions are always so fun. We're always smiling and complimenting each other, and we work with Nayan in our regular basis, and then coming here, and this, like she said, it's similar but also different. We can see that it is a little seed of something that will become big, like a big tree.
Context with the music that you're having to interpret from Christel, Veraart,
Yes.
and then the setting, and then your process working here at the Choreography Retreat.
So the warm welcome, definitely. The collective of everybody for the appreciation of art. You can see that it's people want to be here. That's what Leticia was saying, with the smile on your face and all the time just being so nice to each other, feel like a family so quick. But you can see it's the appreciation for art. And one of the things that definitely the calmness. We come here, we work, we just look so calm. We chill. We were even talking last week couldn't be like this all the time. I think this is what Sedona brings, the nature. And with the music, definitely one of the parts that's touching me the most is what is the story behind the music. I'm not gonna say much because I don't want to spoil. I have
So about Sedona, I fell in love with Sedona since the first time I came here. I kept asking Elio to bring me here every time we have a weekend off. And I just feel like I reset every time I come to this city, and I come back to feeling way more inspired. I feel clean, I feel clear-minded. About the piece and the music, what I connect the most is the Argentinian tango feel that it has in the composition of the music, and that brings kind of my Latin American roots. And I love listening to the music. I think it's a beautiful piece of music.
So even though Nayan is putting certain pieces and certain choreography on you, you want to do a cha-cha or a tango?
We might have some
like
tango movements.
He's inspired too.
Yes. And we start dancing to each other.
Yeah.
Which is great. Thank you so much, each one of you. Thank you, Caitlin May. Thank you, Leticia Enber, Helio Lima. Thank you, and Luis Corrales. Thank you all for your time today and for your candid conversations. And I'm wishing you all much success, and I'm looking forward to the presentation on Friday night. That's one quick thing. Can you give us a little note, a little lean in to what maybe one of your favorite little things were about the pieces that you're being and performance around on Friday night? Can you give us one little, from a dancer's perspective? Is it the movement frame? Is it the music frame? Is it
I think I'm just so...
the rehearsal process?
Yeah, the rehearsal process is great. I mean, it's all art. Like, the collaboration of the music and the movement is going to be very powerful. Niam's made some really cool props